guys, it's Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, where we carry the largest selection of wood flowers in the United States. Welcome back to another tutorial. Can you feel it? I think fall is in the air. Welcome back to another tutorial, and yes, I know as I'm filming this and when it goes live, fall is not here yet, but that's okay. We're gonna pretend it is, and today is gonna be a ton of fun. Instead of just one project, y'all are gonna get 3 projects in one, and these projects are all about how to decorate a faux pumpkin. Now, a couple of these you could actually use with actual pumpkins, but for today's tutorial, it's all gonna be fake pumpkins and how you can decorate them with flowers in 3 different, very different ways. Super excited for that. So get yourself, an apple cider and iced coffee. That's what I would be drinking. That's my drink of choice all through the year. But get yourself something to drink, get cozy, cuddle in, snuggle in, get a blanket. Why not? Pop that fake fireplace thing in the background. You know what I'm talking about. And let's just jump into this and we'll play with some pumpkins. It's gonna be so much fun. So I debated about how to show you guys these. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're going to do it one at a time, and I'll show you the supplies used for each of these. So let's start with what I think is probably, in my personal opinion, the easiest one. There's a lot less prep work that needs to be done. So you need yourself a pumpkin. I like to use smaller pumpkins for this particular one. You're going to need, of course, your Sola wood flowers, colors of choice. This is actually one of the dyed assortments we have right now for the fall season. So if you haven't yet, we do carry some dyed flowers. We change them out seasonally. And then I'm not gonna use anywhere near all of this. I just grabbed a whole bunch of fall filler. We're gonna be taking individual pieces, just a leaf, and that's all you need. So grab some things, but don't think you have to have a million different options. I just like to have the options in front of me. And then again, a pumpkin of your choice. It doesn't matter if it's hollow or filled in. I typically do this on smaller pumpkins. So those are all of the supplies needed. Now let's get to working with this adorable little pumpkin. Oh, I just put makeup on it. That's okay, I can rub that off. All right, let's jump into it. All right, so it's really up to you how many or how few flowers you want. You can get away with just using 1 or 2 flowers, to be completely honest. So what I like to do with these is I'm gonna surround the top of my pumpkin with the flowers. You can take off the stem if you don't want the stem. I'm gonna keep the stem in there. I'm debating if I'm gonna use all 5. So I've got an idea of the placement going on. I do need to add a little bit of greenery to this mix. So looks like these are all built right up onto the stem, so I'm gonna cut these off. And what I mean by that is there's not any places to pull these apart like we do for so many of our other pieces of greenery. And I don't like how that leaf is curled. I'm just gonna pop that off. Right now it's just getting an idea of placement. We're not gluing anything yet until we have a decent idea how we want to place it. That's actually kind of cute to wrap it that way around there. So we've got 4, 5, 6 pieces of greenery, and when I mean pieces, I mean individual little snippets of that. So for this, I'm just gonna start gluing it down And then we'll be able to figure out where we want to put the flowers once all of the greenery is in place. It'll all come together. I know it's one of those kind of nerve-wracking things, but I promise it will all come together. I'm going to use the little divots of the pumpkin to kind of navigate some of my greenery. Not all of it has to be that way, but I do like to do that. I love these like wispy falling, trailing off pieces. You could, if you wanted to though, if you wanted it to like work the shape of the actual pumpkin itself, you could 100% start gluing those into place down the pumpkin, and little dapples, whatever, little pieces of glue throughout to give it the shape that you want. This is so pretty by itself, but y'all know we're gonna add flowers in just a minute. Skewer to help push everything down into the glue because I don't want to burn my fingers. Feel good, and we can always add more. So let's get our flowers in there and see how this all pulls together. So when I'm putting in the flowers, I do like to go on their sides on an angle and not flat down. Sometimes, I mean, there's certain ones that I'm like, oh, that looks cute sitting flat, but there's certain flowers that definitely like to sit at an angle more so. And so using flowers that have more of a cone shape to them and kind of go this way, this is a really good example where it kind of cones in. It can get snuggled in a lot easier. So I'm not gonna futz with this too much, I'm just gonna kind of go in. I feel good about, for the most part, placements thus far, and I think that one already caught on glue. It did. So the orange one's already glued in. There's nothing more I can do with that one. That's where I sat. The glue was already hot, so it's good to go. And so then when I'm gluing the flowers, I'm putting the glue on the side of the flower so that it catches on something as it sits in there. And I normally don't cut the tails off of the flowers either because there's not really a reason to need to, because I actually want those little tails to kind of nestle into the inner part of the pumpkin. Now you could take out the stem. I didn't, but there's definitely times when I have. I am going to cut off, I think I'm gonna cut off this one. I feel like it's going too low. And typically for these, you got one shot, so if you're not loving it, you'll grow to love it. No, I'm kidding. You could probably pull it out while the glue is still a little bit more soft and manageable. And there we go. Pumpkin number 1 is done. On to pumpkin number 2. This particular pumpkin is a hollow pumpkin. I typically find these at Michael's. There might be some other craft stores that carry them, but they will call these are like a carvable pumpkin. So it's gonna be hollow inside, and you can hear it too. You hear that? in comparison, let me get you a not hollow one, like an all foam one. This is like, sounds like, I don't know, and you can feel it too. Like there's definitely something you're squishing into, where this is not moving at all. There's nothing to squish in it. There's just a difference. So you want a carvable pumpkin for this one. As well as, of course, we're gonna use Sola wood flowers. Now these do need to be stemmed up. And then I have 2 different types of greenery. This one is in the shop. It's like the ferny one for fall. This one was a special greenery that was only in our subscription box, the Stash Builders Plus box. So this one you won't find on the site, but this one, depending on when you watch this, may still be on the site. And then just a mix of purples, yellows, and kind of a yellowish orange. Not super traditional colors, but semi-traditional. All right, that's all we're gonna need for this one. As well as something to cut your pumpkin. I'm just gonna use a good old utility knife. For this one, I'm gonna cut a hole up on the top. I have in the past, and it's, I think, on YouTube. Don't hold me to that. Not on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's on Facebook. I cut a hole this way and made almost like a cornucopia with a pumpkin. That's also an option. But for today, we're cutting straight in the top. So let's do that first. I'm not gonna mark this out, but it's definitely something you could do. And this isn't the easiest nor the hardest thing. It just takes a little bit of time and elbow grease to like go around and yay! So there you go, hollow. It's still stinky. Now, you can do the same thing with a fresh pumpkin for this particular one, and then you would put like a food can or something down there if you wanted to even use fresh flowers. You could. We're not going to. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna make a bouquet. Now, we have a couple different options for this, but I think what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna build it in the vase instead of building it outside. So what I mean by that is we're just gonna slide all of this greenery in there. You could put a little floral foam at the bottom too if you wanted to be able to like kind of catch things, but I'm not going to because I like to reuse all of my stuff. And so at the end of this season, I can take all my greenery out, take all my flowers out, and I still have a lovely pumpkin that I can use next year with a different arrangement. So we're just going to crisscross our greenery. It's pretty simple. And then this one, I've got to take these individually out. They're tied up with twine. I'm gonna do one in the middle to kind of keep it taller. And then I've got, well, actually, hold on. We'll use a real big, there's a big robust one. That's too tall though, so I'm gonna cut that down just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so the big robust one is gonna go there, and then the rest I'm gonna trim down a little bit and mix and mingle with the rest of them like we did. There's so many other things. Another option too, if you want, is to put chicken wire, like a little ball of chicken wire in there to use as your kind of frog, if you will, a flower frog, using that to help things from moving around. But again, once you get enough stuff in there, I feel like you're pretty good. Now, that side is nice and full. There's definitely a hole right here, you see that? And I don't have any more greenery, so not a big deal, because I do have a ginormous Sophia. So I'm gonna put her in right first. There you go. It's pretty simple to hide that nice big hole. Just put a flower in it. All right, so I did 3 of every other style. So, oh, actually, I take that back. I did 4 of this one, so maybe we won't We'll see. Maybe I'll do all 4 of the sunflowers, but I did 3 of this orangey yellow guy and 3 of this purple Miss Ivy. Now I would consider this to be a 360 type arrangement. And what I mean by that is that from all sides, there's something fun and interesting to look at. It's not a forward facing, or there's not a certain spot that everything is meant to be in. But I'm definitely getting a vibe that this is gonna be the more highlighted part. So because of that, this other triangle I'm gonna do with my purple flowers, I'm going to want one more purple over here too, so that it pulls all the way through. Alright, so for this one where there's 4, I'm gonna put the bigger sunflower-esque style flower in on the top. And then the 3 little guys, I'm just going to use around the base of this piece. So then this is kind of the starting point of a triangle, and then each of the other ones is going to kind of come back to that one. So there is pumpkin number 2. The final pumpkin of our pumpkin series is another foam pumpkin. This is a larger one. For this particular, we're gonna go a little extra, so I want a little bit of a larger pumpkin. It's not quite as big as our craft foam one, but it's bigger than the little guy that we glued everything to. So there's the pumpkin. This is a pumpkin that is not carvable. It is the one that is full of styrofoam, and we want that. That is definitely something we need for this particular technique. Then we have Sola wood flowers. There are a lot of flowers here, and there's a good chance we're gonna use every single one of them, but I'm gonna go easy on the greenery. I know, I'm throwing you for all sorts of loops. So just one style greenery. This is a more shorter greenery. We're gonna stem up these pieces of greenery. I just had to make sure Vikram is on as we get going. So, oh, there we go. Let's get to it. So this is optional, but this is what I'm gonna do. I'm taking this right off. And it is gonna pull some of the paint type stuff that made the pumpkin. That's okay, I'm okay with that. Try not to pull all of it off, because it's just gonna be more to cover up. Hold on to this. I know, it's weird looking, but hold on to it. You can use it for other pumpkins, or you can glue it back in afterwards if you want, which maybe we will, we'll see. All right, pumpkin is prepped. Because it's styrofoam, we're putting everything directly into it. We're gonna treat it like it's a big pumpkin of floral foam, basically what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start doing that. For this one, we're gonna keep it very tight to the pumpkin, similar to what we did with the gluing one, except for we're using the wires to put it into the pumpkin. When we start, you just start adding stuff in. At first, there's not really a rhyme or reason. We're just getting things into the pumpkin to begin with, and I feel like I'm making these too long, so we're gonna make them a little bit shorter. Alright, so no more pumpkin can be seen there. So now we're gonna keep going around. I told you, this one's gonna be an extra kind of pumpkin. And I'm still gonna try to mirror, so if there's, I don't personally like, unless I'm doing a ton of the same style flower, I don't like the same flower next to the same one. It's just my own personal preference. You don't have to do it that way. It's okay. I'm not gonna get upset. We all like different things. It's kind of the joy of this, isn't it? do something we like. Getting there. We're running out of flowers. Just a good thing. We're not covering the whole pumpkin though. I know some of you are like, my gosh, Stephanie, I promise we're not covering the whole pumpkin. We're gonna call that done. I'm gonna bring this in a different angle so you can see this a little bit better. All right, so now we're gonna put in our greenery. And this is where, remember, you could put the stem back in if you wanted to. I probably will not. And it is a little bit more oval shape, but I get this, like, I see a face. Like, I can see kind of a face in these pumpkins, and it's almost like a crown. I don't know why, that's what I see though. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna individually take these leaves off. These have what we sometimes refer to as like a cup at the bottom. And so these are really easy. Now we have all this extra wire from all of the cuttings I did. So we're gonna add a little bit of hot glue onto our wire. We're gonna slide that in, whoops. We're gonna let go of it so it can, and then just set it aside for like 2 seconds. Not necessarily 2 seconds, like less than a minute. And that's going to glue into place. And these wires are too long, so we are gonna have to cut them down even more. So I think what I'm gonna do to make this easier on myself, I'm gonna start cutting those now and just reuse. I'm less willy-nilly with this. I definitely pay attention to where I'm pulling off my greens from so that I can still use the rest of that for a different project if I want. And in all honesty, I can use these again too. Just taking the wire, with a little bit of muscle, you can typically get the wire to come out. If you're not like intentionally trying to pull it out, it's a lot harder. But if you're intentionally trying to pull that wire out of the greenery so that you can use it for a different project and to stem it up even longer, you can definitely do that. All right, all my greenery is stemmed up. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I forgot one. 6 little extra doodad guys. Let me grab one more wire real fast. Shorty guy of sorts. Oh, there's one on my table. Perfect. I don't need really long ones, especially for these kind of wispy pieces, because I can't cut, well I could, but it defeats the whole purpose to cut the top of that off because we're wanting that little guy. These guys, the wires can be a little bit longer because say we hate how tall it's coming, you can just trim that back a little bit. It's fine. It works. All right, so I put the flowers pretty close to the pumpkin. Did I need to? Probably not. Probably would be better if I left them out just a little bit more so that I can slide in my greenery pieces first. We're kind of going in a downward motion and going upward. And that one is not doing what I want it to do. There we go. That's why we glue things, folks. That's why we glue things. Pumpkin number 3. She's done. All right, my lovelies, we have pumpkin number 1, where we hot glued everything together. Pumpkin number 2, where we cut a hole into the pumpkin and put our greenery and flowers directly into the pumpkin. It's a clear base. You could also, I didn't show this part, but I've done this before. So you've made your pumpkin, you're gonna scoop everything up by hand. You can wrap that all up. That way then you have this little mini bouquet. So if the person, say you're selling it or giving it as a gift, if they wanted to not always have it in a pumpkin, say they want to keep this seasonally or year round, then they just need to pull it out of the pumpkin and pop it in a different vase and you're good to go. Or you leave it as is. You can also add, again, floral foam to the bottom of this. I would suggest that if you're gonna be selling pumpkins like this in this particular technique, or using chicken wire as far as a way just to hold things a little bit tighter in there, because they do get a little bit loosey-goosey. But if it's for your own personal use or for like a centerpiece at a wedding or something like that, I think it's probably fine just to do it the way that we did. And then the last pumpkin, everything goes directly into the pumpkin. You treat the pumpkin like it's floral foam. You could add a little bit of moss or something first too, if you wanted to, just so you can have some green kind of poking through. And then we added the greenery in last, where the other 2 greenery was first. So all sorts of different ways. Oh, and I just realized I have a big, medium, and small, so that's adorable. You can't see it, but I can. That's so cute. All right, you guys. I hope this tutorial helped you get a little inspired of how you're going to decorate some pumpkins this fall season. I hope so. We have a ton of tutorials over on Facebook in particular with pumpkins. I'm obsessed with pumpkins. I love them so much. I have a very large collection of pumpkins. So we've done lots of different things, not just putting flowers on them, but also how to decorate the pumpkins. We've used tattoos, like the ones that you put, well, not the non-permanent tattoos, but they stay permanent on the pumpkin unless you like try to scrub them off. So like kids tattoos, but like really pretty floral ones. We've done things like marbling. We've done some paint drip type techniques. We've done a whole bunch of different things. I made a unicorn once too. So lots of different pumpkin tutorials over there that are both with flowers and without, but different ways to take a everyday craft store pumpkin and just bump it up just a little bit. So I hope you will check those out if you'd like. Just go over to Facebook, look for Oh You're Lovely, and just do a quick search for pumpkin and it'll show a whole bunch of Facebook Lives that we've done in the last couple of years. So enjoy that as well. We'll see you super soon for another tutorial. And I was just gonna sign off, but wait, hold up, we gotta do all the fun YouTube things. If you're loving this channel, can't get enough, wanna know the next time we post a video, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. To find out about the 150 style Sola wood flowers along with craft supplies and greenery, go to ohyourlovely.com. But before you do, let me give you something. Use the code YouTube30 to get 30% off your first order. And if you want, let me know in the comments. Do you decorate pumpkins? Do you love pumpkins? Are you obsessed with pumpkins like me? Answer one or all of those questions. That would be lovely. And I will see you next time for another tutorial. I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, and you, my friends, are absolutely lovely. Bye guys.